Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. I'm going to begin today's video with some mail. I recently received some gifts in the mail, so I'll show you what I got. Here is a look at the presents I received. So I got two books, Ancient Trees, Portraits of Time by Beth Moon and Baobab by Beth Moon. Really nice books, and those were sent to me by Chris. And then from Tom from Clip Bonsai for Seniors, I got some seeds in the mail. Variegated Jerusalem cherries and Rosehip. There's angel wings rosehips. So that's pretty exciting. I'll have to plant those up. So Chris sent me a letter, so let me read the letter. Here is Chris's letter. He says, "Hi Nigel. I had to dig back through my email to find your address. As it turns out, I asked you for it back in January of 2023. Intending to send you a gift, and here I am finally doing it 3 years later. As a fellow bonsai enthusiast, I don't need to tell you how quickly the years pass or how good intentions sometimes take a while to bear fruit. I hope you enjoyed these two books, which feature both the baobab trees you love and other ancient trees. Perhaps they'll offer you some inspiration for your own work, and I'm sure they will." In 2018, I received a kidney transplant at a time when I was very ill and my future didn't look especially bright. The transplant gave me hope again, real practical hope about being alive and well for years to come. It's no coincidence that I took up bonsai soon after. This isn't a hobby you begin unless you believe you'll be around long enough to care for something slowly, season after season. I found your videos right at the moment when I needed both encouragement and a clear picture of what the care would look like. Your steady, everyday approach to bonsai demystified the process and made it feel very approachable, something I could actually do. I now have many trees that I've collected, propagated, and traded with my local club members, both hardy and tropical. I've enjoyed the passion and joy you share beyond bonsai as well, whether through projects in the community garden, your vehicles, animals, and more. Please enjoy these gifts as a thank you for what you have given so freely to many, including me. With appreciation, Chris." So thanks very much, Chris. Beautiful letter. I will keep this letter with the books. Then Tom from Clip Bonsai for Seniors says, "Nigel, I have angel wings rose hips to get seed out of, and a variegated Jerusalem cherry pot also. Hopefully seed inside will grow for you. Tom from Clip Bonsai for Seniors." So thanks very much, Tom. Before we have a look at the books, I'm going to open up the seeds that Tom sent me. So let's see how they did. They made it through the mail okay. Okay, so that must be the Rosehip, I would think. Oh, no, this is the Variegated Jerusalem cherry pot. Okay, that's that one. This is the Rosehip. Angel wings Rosehip. Ooh, look how tiny that is. Okay, so I think I'll get those planted up today before I lose them. So thanks very much, Tom. It looks like the seeds came intact and ready to plant. I'm going to have a look at the book Ancient Trees, Portraits of Time by Beth Moon. I haven't looked at these books yet. So let's have a look. It says Beth Moon's 14-year quest to photograph ancient trees has taken her across the United States, Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. Some of her subjects grow in isolation on remote mountainsides, private estates, or nature preserves. Others maintain a proud, though often precarious, existence in the midst of civilization. All, however, share a mysterious beauty perfected by age. So yeah, she's taken 14 years to photograph all the trees in this book. So that's quite a journey. I'm kind of envious. I would love to go on a 14-year tour and just photograph and look at ancient trees. So I recognize these trees. That's the dragon trees on Socotra Island. They're very distinct, the umbrella shape. I have to be careful about showing these pictures because these are all copyrighted images. There's the Baobabs. I know that's from Madagascar. So this book, it's set up, there's all the plates, and then it has descriptions of the trees. I recognize that. That's the Tuprom Temple, the ficus growing over top of that. Oh, yeah, more Tuprom Temple pictures. These are the quiver trees in Africa. Ancient baobabs. Wow. So the pictures are all black and white in this book, I think. Desert rose, that's Socotra Island too. Dragon's blood trees. Oh, these are nice pictures. Olive trees, ancient olive trees, that's really nice. That'll inspire me. Joshua trees. Bristlecone pines. Avenue of oaks. Carpoke tree. Moreton Bay ficus. General Sherman, the giant redwoods. Or sequoias. The yews, the ancient yews. Wow. Yeah, lots of the oaks. The giant oaks of Britain. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. That's awesome, Chris. Now let's have a look at the Baobab book. And it's a very long book. I don't know if there's a lot of like panoramic photos in here, or let's have a look. Oh, the black and white is really nice. You can study the form of the trees. There's no color to kind of distract your eye. It's, oh, look at that, the hollow trunk. Another hollow trunk on this one. Holy, these are amazing. Oh, look at that trunk. Oh, there's some color pictures in it. Look at this. Younger baobab trees. Senegal. Has a map of where all the trees are located. Wow, that is just absolutely huge. Gigantic tree. Oh, look at that for a panoramic view. The whole island there. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. It's Botswana and South Africa. Oh, there's another awesome panoramic view. I like studying each individual tree. Like that one's really cool. That one's very unique, flat top. Wow, these are awesome. And you can see where people have stripped the bark off. They use the fibers for making rugs and all kinds of things. Elephants chew them to get moisture. Bottle-shaped baobabs. Yeah, there's pretty well every form you can imagine. I was camping out underneath a baobab tree. That must be quite a sight. Another cool panoramic. Now, what are these in the background? There's something growing up, kind of a clump style. Very interesting. You can also study, you know, when you're doing your penging landscapes, you can study all the plant life around the trees to get a realistic kind of penging. Oh, wow. This is a fantastic book. I'm so lucky to get this book. Thanks so much, Chris. This is just blows me away. I'm going to be looking at this book for hours and hours. It is very inspirational. Wow. Yeah, so thanks, Tom and Chris, for those gifts. That is just Absolutely wonderful. I always tell people that are getting into bonsai that you should study trees in nature, videos, books, study full-size trees, because bonsai to me is a interpretation, taking a full-size tree and then making a miniature version of it. So all your styling clues in that should come from the full-size counterparts in nature, ideally. So I don't encourage people to study other bonsai, because that's like making a painting off of someone else's painting of something that exists in real life, and it's like a copy of a copy. I think people should go to the source, nature, and then create their own interpretation of it. And I think that's what keeps bonsai artistic and unique to the person growing the tree. If it's your personal interpretation of nature, then the bonsai becomes your work of art. It's something that's close to you and that others might appreciate. If you're copying someone else's copy of nature, then it becomes less artistic, less personal. It becomes more of a craft rather than an art, because you're just copying something you've seen and trying to duplicate it. And I find that a lot in bonsai, that there's a lot of people growing trees that are just growing them to look like other bonsai, not like trees you would see in nature. And I think it lessens the hobby. I think, an example might be shohin displays. At the top of every shohin display is this black pine that's got a thick trunk and triangular silhouette, and it doesn't really look like a typical black pine you'd see in nature. It's like this stunted, exaggerated version of a black pine, and it's kind of become the standard that that's what a black pine bonsai should look like. And I find it very dull and boring to copy another bonsai, not to take a look at pictures of black pines in nature and then try and be inspired to grow your tree in a style that appeals to you. Another example is trident maples, the big thick triangle trunk trident maples with the horizontal layered branches. Trident maples don't look like that in nature, and I don't know why people are drawn to that. I think part of it is that when you grow a tree in miniature, a lot of people might call a naturalistic looking tree boring, because it looks like, kind of duplicates the structure you see in nature. And I think people try and make their trees stand out, and sometimes that's by making the trunk extra thick or extra tapered, or making your branches very, very precise and horizontal rather than going up flowing in a random kind of style that you would see in nature. I think they're trying to make their tree look special in a way that's not natural, that the tree looks special because it's almost cartoonish or freakish looking. I hate to use those terms, but exaggerated is maybe a nicer term. Exaggerating features or exaggerating styles. And it makes their tree stand out and look different than, a tree just growing in a pot, a naturalistic style tree. But I think a well done naturalistic style tree, to me, I like it 10 times better than any exaggerated kind of tree. I prefer that natural look, if possible. I mean, long-term growing a tree in a pot, you can't stop the trees growing. So the trunk is going to get thicker. If you restrict the height of the tree, it's going to get thicker and thicker and eventually get out of proportion unless you grow the tree taller and taller. It's pretty hard to keep a tree to a certain size over a very long period of time. It can be done, but it takes a lot of technique to keep the tree looking in proportion over a long period of time. So there's definitely styling challenges to the naturalistic style and the unnaturalistic style, trying to keep them miniaturized. So I encourage people study trees in nature, books, magazines, videos on YouTube. There's tons of videos on trees on YouTube. Forest trees, special trees, all kinds of trees. So yeah, I would encourage people to study trees, natural trees in nature, and then come up with your version of that tree in miniature. And I think you'll have fun in the hobby. You'll end up with a very unique looking tree that's special to you. And there'll be others that appreciate your style. I'm going to plant the seeds that Tom sent me. And I've got 2 pots. These are thrift store pots. So they're not, super high quality pots or anything, but they will do for germinating the seeds and growing them into little plants. So I'll get drainage screens in the pot and a base layer of soil. And we'll use the Chris Marshall drainage screens. So that goes in there. So they both have drainage screens in the bottom. So now I can add a base layer of soil. Okay, in goes my soil. I'll fill it up just below the lip of the pot. There's a spider. I should do. Now I'm thinking of just planting the whole seed pod like this. This is the Jerusalem cherry. I was thinking of just planting it, the whole thing, and then I may get a clump style because there's probably lots of seeds in here. But I found that technique works quite well, rather than separating all the seeds. And I'll do the same with the Angel Wings Rosehip. It's very tiny. There it is there. So we'll put that in the middle of the pot too, bury it, and give them a water and just see what happens. So the weather today has gotten a little warmer. It's above freezing now outside, at least in the daytime. So I think I'll leave these 2 pots in the greenhouse here and just see if they germinate and grow into something. Time will tell. Let's give them a good water here. That should do. Okay. So I will set them over here. That way you'll see them in the background pretty well on every video. And then hopefully in a few weeks we'll see something green coming out of the top of the soil. Time will tell. So thanks, Tom. Thanks for those seeds. We'll see if they grow. I want to thank Chris and Tom for the presents that will go on into the future to hopefully new plants and some books I can look at for many, many years to come. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.